special guest. My girl Monet is here to share her experiences about finding her dream career, but also finding love at the same time.
Hey.
So, I know we usually have a fruit of the day, but it's hot girl summer, right?
Hot wife summer for me.
Okay, so she's a wife.
My husband won't let me participate in hot girl summer,
So I'm gonna participate in hot girl summer because I'm not married. But she actually is married, so it's hot wife summer for her. But that's where we are trying to be, okay? So we have our snacks instead of our fruit. We have our cookies, our fruit, and we have our hot Cheetos. That's hot girl summer food, right?
hot girl, hot Cheetos.
Okay, so we are going to start off talking about the career. She's gonna let you all know what she does, how she got where she is, and how her and her hubby met and ended up getting married. Sounds good?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into this topic. Okay, so Monet, you are a account executive in corporate sales, right?
Corporate travel sales.
Okay, so kind of walk us through how did you get to that position that you're in? Because you're 30, now you are. A lot of women when they turn 30. First of all, let me ask you that: when you turned 30, was it a sense of like, how did you feel? Like, did you feel like, oh my God, I'm an old woman now?
I felt old. There was a distinct difference in my 30th birthday than there was in the 29th. So my 30th birthday was a little bit unfortunate. We won't get into that, but my friend Chi, I'm sure she's watching. She feels me on that. It was there was just a lot going on. So I turned 30 on May 18th, and that's just a busy day for graduations. I didn't have a lot of friends that could celebrate with me, and that made me feel like I was getting old because like my friends have kids, they're pregnant, they're going to their whoever's graduation. You definitely between 25 and 30 find out who your real friends are, for sure.
So I remember Aisha Curry saying that, you know, she felt as if being married and, you know, she feels like a mother is kind of like, I don't feel attractive anymore. She kind of felt a sense of unattractiveness being a 30-year-old woman. Did you feel that way? Did you feel like, oh, I'm not a young cat? And even though 30 is young, 30 is young, but like when men think of women, they're thinking of like women in their 20s, like, oh, she's a little youngin'. Did you feel as though you aren't as desirable?
No, not at all. Not at all. So I gained about 10 pounds over the past year, and I love the way it felt. Like I feel sexier than ever at 30, and I feel more confident, for sure.
Okay, so let's go back to when we were speaking about you being account executive. So do you feel as if you are in the career that you want to be in at 30? Because a lot of people think that once you turn 30, you have to be married, you have to have kids, you have to be in the career that you want to be in, you have to have a house. So do you feel as if you have attained the goals that you thought you would attain at 30?
I do. So it's interesting. One of my goals was to not have children before 30. And being married, that does get a little difficult. You kind of like, if we had a kid, it wouldn't be the worst thing ever. But no, it was definitely a goal of mine and my husband's not to have children. And your original question was, did I feel like I was in the career that I wanted to be in? For sure. So I got my job 9 days before I turned 30. So it was my little birthday gift to myself. And I wanted to be in the travel industry. I'm studying to be a pilot, both helicopter and fixed wing piloting. I'll be done this year, prayerfully. So it just made sense for me to go into the travel industry. I started traveling a lot in my last role as a regional manager, and work travel just felt like what I should be doing. It breaks up the monotony of the week. Not being in an office for 40 hours a week. We've all been there, girl.
Right.
40 hours. So I knew I wanted to be in the travel industry in some capacity, right?
Right.
So when I got my job, it was kind of an unfortunate circumstance because I was in a position where I needed to leave my previous job, but found the posting for my current company, and instantly felt at home. So I feel really blessed to say yes, at 30, I do feel like I'm in the right career.
Okay, so you feel like right now, what you're doing, you feel like you're in the right career and you're in that stage of life that you thought you would be in your 20s. Like, you're happy completely with what you're doing and you see growth in it. You feel like, you have that career that you thought you would see yourself doing in your 20s.
Yeah, well, and you know what? It's better than I thought it would be. And I feel like in your 20s, you're fearful.
Right.
Like, you wonder, is everything going to work out?
Right.
Is this am I doing the right thing?
Right.
I want to try this, I want to try that. Maybe you're a parent, maybe you're married, maybe you're not married,
right.
maybe you're in a relationship. So I was fortunate. My husband is 5 years older than me.
Right.
6 actually. So he was ready to get married when I thought I was ready to get married. I was your age when I got married.
Okay, I'm 25. So
I was 25. Yeah, I was 25 when I got married. I was actually 23 when I got engaged, but turned 24 the next day. But still, I say 23.
Right.
It just sounds a little bit more dramatic. But yeah, so I didn't feel that pressure from a relationship standpoint to get married. I just, when we started talking about marriage, my husband was game. So
right.
that definitely helped. And it also helped we were on the same page about not having children. We
right.
wanted to wait at least 5 years. It was a conversation. It was a conscious decision that we made.
Right.
No kids. Let's focus on our careers.
So now that you're 30, do you feel pressured to have kids now?
I do.
Okay.
I do. And I'm putting that pressure on myself.
Right.
Like, I'm ready.
So what made you want to wait until you were 30 to have kids? Like, do you feel as though when you get married, you should enjoy your spouse before having a child? Do you feel like that helped your marriage? Or
yes.
How do you feel like it, what was the result of waiting? Do you feel like it helped you all grow stronger so that now when y'all are finally ready to have children, it's like, okay, we've built that foundation in our marriage.
Yeah.
And now we're ready to take on that next step of having a child.
I know who my husband is, and he knows who I am.
Okay.
I'm confident in his abilities as a father. Hopefully he's confident in mine as a mother. But I feel like when you're a parent, you have to think for 2.
Right.
Or in my case, think for 3.
Right.
So I also feel like women let their roles and their responsibilities become their identities and use wife, mother, businesswoman as their identity. I feel strongly that I know completely who I am. And because I know who I am, I can then better guide a child.
Right.
And I think babies are actually easier. I don't want the parents to get on me, but I feel like a baby is easier to nurture.
Right.
Because we kind of know what a baby needs. Like,
right.
It needs to be clean. It needs to have food. It
right.
needs to sleep. Like, it's pretty basic. But when a child turns 2, 3, 4, 5, it gets a little bit more complex. And
right.
I feel more confident in who I am.
Right.
To know how to guide my child, when to be that helicopter mom, like
right.
swoop down, and when
right.
to let them be them. And I think I'll be a little bit more patient than I would have been had I had a child when I got
right.
married at 25.
So let me ask you this. What makes you feel so confident in yourself and who you are? That's my first question. But my second question is, do you feel that is what attracted your husband to you? Because a lot of women don't understand that a man seeks a woman who has her own thing going on, right?
That's true.
And a lot of women, instead of making a man join into their world, they make a man their world. So instead of a man, conjoining them into what they already have, they end up making the man their world. So do you feel as though, number one, learning who you was what attracted him to you? And number two, how did you come into yourself?
So my situation is a little unique. My husband and I met when I was 20 years old. So at 20, you think you know who you are, but you're wrong. If you're 20 and watching this, you don't know yourself yet. I promise you don't. So my husband actually helped mold me into that. In one of our first conversations when we were dating, he told me, what I think makes a relationship beautiful is when each person has their own life and they bring the other person in. So your first question was where I got my confidence from. God, thank you. Just my confidence comes from the Lord and knowing that no matter what path I take, He has my back and He'll be on my side. I made mistakes, girl, like, some mistakes. And then just knowing, even now at 30, when things aren't going right, I look for the lesson in it. And I think the sooner you learn that your steps are ordered, your life is guided by something greater than you, and you can be a part, that greatness is also within you, it's hard not to be confident.
But what are some of the things that you did to attain that confidence? Because women don't just become confident overnight.
No.
You know, it's certain steps that you have to take to attain that confidence and really come into who you are.
I think you have to be comfortable with your flaws. You have to know what your flaws are, so somebody can't pick them apart. And then I ask questions about myself. So you can attest, we're friends.
Right.
I ask you stuff about, do I not ask you,
Yeah.
how did I come off when I said this? How do I sound when I said this?
That's a good one.
And getting people's opinions that you value. Like, you have to value their opinion. If you want the opinion of a stranger, who cares?
Right.
Like, what else did I do to become confident? I just got to know myself. Like, literally, when I started piloting, I found a peace that I had not found literally anywhere on earth. Because, okay, so if you look aerodynamically, if you look just physically, planes don't seem like they should fly, right?
Right.
Or a helicopter doesn't seem like it should fly.
Right.
Yet it does. And I've since learned why planes fly and laws of motion, but you can't help but feel like it's you and God when you're up there.
Right.
So having that experience of God is in control, and through me, He's helping me to fly this plane that I can't conceive how this plane that weighs.
So I remember, not to cut you off, but I remember you saying that it's attractive when somebody's an expert in something.
Oh, for sure.
So you feel as though flying a plane, being a pilot, wanting to be a pilot was going to be something that was your expertise.
My expertise, yeah.
And do you feel as though that is, every woman needs to have something that they feel like is their safe haven? Is there something that, is their talent that they can go to, that they can be an expert at, or can, something that they can go to? Like for me, I can go to writing. I love to write. I know that I'm good at writing. That is my safe haven. Your safe haven is being a pilot. Do you think every woman should have that to attain that somewhat of a confidence?
Absolutely. I don't think there's a more important thing a woman can have besides a relationship with a higher power. Or a higher power. It doesn't necessarily have to be mine. But I think that the most important thing a woman can do is have something that she goes to outside of her spouse, boyfriend, situationship, whatever. Outside of her children, outside of her home, outside of, the norms, just something outside, have a passion. And I do think that's attractive. Now, my husband is an extremely passionate person as well. And I fell in love with my husband when I heard him play the drums. Right. Can we go into that story real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was, he invited me to church, which I liked. And he's like, I'm playing the drums at church. You can come if you want. It'll be a good time. Like, he invited me to church. Okay, cool. I get to the church and I hear somebody on the drums. I'm like, that can't be him, because this man has just been so humble and so, I didn't think the drums were a big deal to him. And then I saw him moving in his purpose and in his passion, and it was the most attractive thing I've ever seen, for sure.
So pretty much, you had your own thing going on. Not only was you pursuing a career in sales, you started off as a sales manager in icing, and you managed a few other sales jobs, and then it led you to your dream job as an account executive. Right. So pretty much what you were doing was you were planting those seeds. You started from the bottom and you worked your way up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you were also pursuing your other goal of becoming a pilot.
Absolutely.
So with that, you also was attracted to somebody who had another passion for himself.
Yeah.
So not only did you have your own passion, he had his own passion with his drums outside of his regular 9-to-5 job.
Right. Well, no, I didn't start piloting until after we got married.
Okay, so before you got married though, what was that passion that you had?
So before I got married, I was really career driven. Like I knew before we got married, I always had a project. So when we got engaged, my project was buying a house. Like I'm going to be a homeowner at 23.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So buying a house at 23, meeting your husband at 25, or marrying your husband at 25, and having your dream career at 30. What were the steps that you took to attain those 3 goals, something that is the American dream that everybody wants to attain?
Yeah, so,
and I know we kind of veered off, but
in that sense, the American dream actually helped me because I knew that those, as standard as they are, I knew they were things that I wanted to accomplish. I'm sorry, that's my alarm.
Y'all don't act like this don't happen, okay? Okay.
You hit stop? Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right. So, because they were standard American dreams, I graduated college. I got a job in sales, actually selling bathtubs.
Okay.
It was interesting. I stayed at it for 3 years. It was a good part-time job out of college, right? And then I started working full-time, managing a boutique and holding down the sales job. So I would save all my money from the boutique.
See, I told y'all. I have a video on saving money. I told y'all.
Plug. No, I saved everything. I was living with my mother at the time, which she didn't charge me rent or anything. So that was a blessing in itself. My car was paid off. So literally, I would go to the grocery store, get sandwich meat, and a little, what are those things called? Box juice. That was my lunch. Like that was my lunch for the week.
So that was how you minimized your spending.
Yep.
So that you can take all of your money and put it towards saving for a house.
Yep. And I started building my credit. My last couple of years in college.
Right.
So I have
and see what a lot of people don't understand is that it's not hard buying a house.
It's not.
Right? It's really not. As long as your credit is good for the most part and you have money for a down payment, buying a house is not as strenuous as people make it seem.
People make it seem, right? They make it seem a lot more difficult than it is.
Did you have that goal set in place? Like, this is when I'm gonna buy the house, this is where I'm looking, this is how much I'm gonna have for my down payment.
Girl, I gave you The Secret, right? So I watched The Secret DVD my senior year of college. I wrote on a piece of paper after I graduated, this is the house I want. I want it to have 3 bedrooms. I want it to be a townhouse. I want it to be in this neighborhood or a neighborhood similar. And I'm actually living in the neighborhood. I kept that piece of paper in my wallet for a year. I literally wrote how much I wanted it to cost. I got it less than that. And yeah, I found the house. Like literally, I attracted the house. I really believe I did. I put in my work. So that's the other thing about manifesting. I feel like people think manifesting is, if I think about this real hard, if I pray real hard, it'll happen. Faith without works is dead.
Right.
So I saved my money from that job. And I bought the house. And my husband at the time had his own place. He wanted us to live together out of college. My mom was paying the bills. So she was not having that. She was like, you're not shacking up if you're not engaged. And I'm still to this day very afraid of my mother. She's probably watching. Hi, Mom. I'm terrified of you. I am. Right? You're not scared of your mom?
Of course.
Yeah, I'm scared of I'm 30 and I'm afraid of my mother. So yeah, my husband, I wanted him to move in when I got the house. And he actually helped me a little bit with the down payment, which I'm appreciative of. It was a gift. And then shortly thereafter, like we planned on moving in, but we had also planned on getting married. And we did get married. He proposed to me on my birthday, which was about a month after I bought the house.
So let me ask you this, and I promise, like, I am not a bimbo, but this is a question that a lot of women have. Yeah. Do you think that you did something differently for him to propose? A lot of women think that it's a secret to getting proposed to, right? And this fits the topic because we're talking about having a dream career and having your own thing and having love at the same time. What do you think kind of warranted that proposal? Because a lot of women, they feel as though men don't propose anymore. They feel as though marriage isn't a big thing.
They do. The man has to want. You can't make a man want to do something he does not want to do. That's a mistake. So my husband, when I met him, he told me he didn't want to get married until he was 50. And I was like, that might not work out. But keep in mind, I was 20 at that point. I didn't know that we would be together as long as we did. But one thing I did, and I'm not saying y'all have to do this, I'm just saying what I did, we were celibate until we got married. Probably maybe 6 months before we got engaged. Okay. I told him it was my decision, and he agreed with it. For religious reasons, I didn't want to have sex. And he agreed, and he honored that. But he also wanted to, so also we had conversations about marriage, and I think also him seeing me save for the house, though he did help with the down payment, and now he's the co-owner of the house with me. Seeing my hustle, seeing me hold down 2 jobs, I think he found that attractive. Right. You have to ask him.
And do you feel as though your confidence was something? Because one thing about it, and I had to work on this myself. When you're confident in who you are, there's nothing that anybody can say to you to make you feel as though you're that person. Somebody can say anything they want, and you're gonna be like, okay, I know who I am. I don't care. When you aren't confident, every little thing that somebody tells you, you're like, oh my God, is this really me? It gets under your skin. Yeah. Do you feel like you were already confident once you and him were dating? And that he sensed that? Because men can sense things. Men can sense when, you're insecure. Men can sense when you're weak. Yeah. Men can sense everything. Do you feel as though he saw your strength? He saw your confidence? Not to say that you can't show weakness. But overall, do you feel like that was a factor in your relationship?
For sure. He's a very confident guy. I couldn't picture him. As a matter of fact, he had a girlfriend. She was so pretty. But he would tell me stories about her. He was like, she's so depressed and keep that away from me. Like I'll listen a little bit, but also because I knew that was attractive to him. I think I became even more so confident within myself. And so I think for sure confidence attracted him, but also learning how to kind of harness that confidence and not come off, because I think, especially as women of color,
not come off aggressive or arrogant. So one thing that I've learned is that men don't, not to say that you have to be something for a man. No, I'm not saying that. But it's unattractive when you're always depressed, always negative, always sad. Men like that happy shit. They do. They like that positive shit.
Do they? Yeah.
For the most part, they do.
If he doesn't, he might be toxic.
He might be toxic himself. Men like positive women. But also, men also like women who are confident but not cocky or arrogant. Yeah.
Well, I feel like the wrong man, I've been in a relationship with a narcissist.
Girl, we all have.
Girl. And I didn't know it then. This was pre-Instagram, pre-hashtags, pre-narcissists do this, narcissists. I feel like the wrong man will see that you're confident or see areas that you're not confident in and find ways to plant seeds to make you feel insecure so that you become more attached to them and your confidence comes from them. So that's why I think it's so important for women to have a sense of purpose.
Yep.
A higher power.
Yep.
Something that they know that is greater than them.
Yep.
But also know that greatness resides in them.
Right.
And I think it's kind of like you have to work it out, right? So
right.
If you don't exercise a certain part of your body or even a certain part of your personality,
right.
it's not going to shine through, right?
Right.
So I read a lot. I'm a reader. I read a lot of self-help books, a lot of nonfiction, a lot of psychology books.
Right.
And so I just learned myself.
Right.
And I learned who I was. And yes, I do think my husband finds that attractive.
Right. And learning yourself is not only helped in your marriage, but it helped in your career because it strived you, it pushed you to attain those goals.
Oh, yeah.
Because I am a person who has been through depression before.
Okay.
So when you're depressed, when you're unhappy, when you're sad, you don't have that urgency to attain your goals, to reach, to be everything that you need to be that ambitious, audacious person. When you're confident in who you are, when you're happy with who you are, the sky's the limit for you.
That's true.
And nothing that a narcissist can do, nothing that a Libra man can, no, I'm just like, I'm kidding. Nothing that any man can do can break you, or any person in general, because you're so confident in yourself. You know that, hey, I'm going to attain this goal. Hey, I'm going to have this career. Hey, I'm going to have that house. And if a man comes along within that time period, then cool. And 9 times out of 10, when you're not looking and when you're doing you,
that's so true.
That's when they come.
When you're not looking for it, you have to let it go.
Right.
So I want to tell you a story about
that.
So with the position that I'm in now, I didn't hear back from my current boss as soon as I felt that I should have. Right. Mm-hmm. It was all, looking back, it was all God's perfect timing, because in that timing, I went on a free cruise, which was my first cruise, and now the position that I'm in, I'm talking about cruises a lot. Like I spend a lot of time. I'm not in leisure sales, but we end up in one of the days I'm in the office just talking about cruising, and actually having that experience and that expertise helped shape me, and I understand more of the industry that I'm in because I didn't get a call back when I felt I should have had a call back. And while I was on a cruise, I was like, okay, you know what, God, I trust you. If this job is for me, I know it will be for me. And I promise you, within 72 hours of saying, you know what, God, I'm giving this to you. You know how bad I want it and how much I want to hold on to it. And giving that to him and just making room and letting stuff. When I tell you, there is power in surrender and there's power in letting stuff go, and it comes back so fast if it's meant for you, right?
Right.
That was the story.
Okay. I'm gonna pick it back up.
Okay.
No, I definitely think that is very true. I think that when you manifest it and the law of attraction is real. I think that when you think positively and when you speak positive things into the world, it comes back in your favor, whether it's meant for you or whether it's not. Now, it's not going to always be meant for you.
No.
But you will definitely know whether it is.
Maybe then, how many times are you like, I'm so glad that didn't work out?
Exactly.
So, honey, had things worked out the way I wanted them to work out when I was 20, 19, girl, I wouldn't be talking to you. Like I'd be burping a baby or something right now. Not that that's not beautiful and not something that I hope to experience one day, but I think that there's power and sometimes things don't work out.
And that's why I always think that that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because it's always power in hearing somebody else's story, especially somebody who's a little older than you. Going through your 20s and even your 30s, sometimes you don't know where you're going to end up. Sometimes you feel as though you're not going to get that career you want to get, or that you just are putting in so much effort and not seeing result. Whether that's in a relationship, in a friendship, or even in a career. But hearing somebody else's story, hearing what things that somebody else has done to be successful, to be happy in their life, to be happy with who they are, always helps I know it helps me. And to hear your story, hear that you've attained, you know, being an account executive, being a career that you want to be in the travel industry, having a marriage and being married for 5 years, but also buying a house and learning who you are and doing the work to be who you want to be, that is very comforting and it's definitely empowering. So I really thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Tell everybody how they can follow you on Instagram.
At Monetation.
So can you spell that?
MonetVation. So my first name and Innovation.
Okay.
On all platforms.
Good, gotcha. All right, so y'all go follow her. If you have any more questions for Monet, drop them in the comments, and she also will answer them on Instagram.
Yeah, for sure.
And thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
for having